I can't. We still have Raw requests to do, so I'm going to do it first because if I don't do it now, I'm not going to be able to finish this show. My Raw request, and I'm going to try and be serious even though this Raw is bad, it's going to relate back to my hate of the night. You've got to find more creative ways to promote your undercard programs. I feel like programs that you want people to care about, like Cena Lesnar, even Jericho Wyatt to a degree, I would say. I know you have it in you because you did great stuff with both of those programs. But like AJ Page and Ms. Ziggler in particular is what I thought of when I made that Heat of the Night. I mean, really? You couldn't have. I mean, I heard they did a WWE.com interview with Ziggler. Well, that's great. But you know what would have been even better? Like an in-ring interview, or maybe just Ziggler, thinking to himself, or just something like that. Something that could actually be seen on TV. Not the app, not a website, TV. Page AJ. Again, Ashton had two good defenses for why it's going, better than I'm probably giving it credit for right now. So I will concede that those are good arguments. But I'm still not, as a fan only, really feeling this. I just feel like the undercard is really getting shafted. And then Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins, who I feel like it's almost an insult giving them the label undercard with how great both guys are. I feel like they've almost been shafted too with the way that their feud is going. Like Brie and Stephanie got 2 segments on this Raw, and Ambrose and Rollins only got 1, and it wasn't even that long. Like, it was
it was like, dude, it was like 2 minutes. Even.
Exactly. So, yeah, the undercard of this show, I just feel like really suffered tonight, and you can't afford that to happen because you can count on a main event or an opener or whatever match that you feel like is going to be the carrier to carry your shows, but that doesn't mean that we're not going to remember everything that was bad in between, and I just hope it doesn't come back to blow up in your face. So that's my Raw request, is just treat your undercard better when you head into a show, especially a show like this one.
Okay. How do I sum everything up tonight and put it into one Raw request? Or do I go the high road and just pick out one specific thing that I want the WWE to do?
Dude, after the lines you've come out with, there is no freaking high road. Just do the best you can. Like, what do you really think they could improve after this abomination, so to speak?
Oh, man. I honestly, dude, like, what I really want to say is take your McMahon ego and shove it and put emphasis on people that actually deserve emphasis. But on that same note, we've been clamoring for Stephanie to get in the ring for a while, and we should have known that it would have become a point of emphasis. So I can't even really say that. So right. What I think I'm going to just kind of, I don't know, I'm just going to keep it really simple and really anticlimactic. I feel like I've had enough climactic moments tonight for 1 week or a month or however long you want to say with just the random crap that we've been talking about, and especially with the frickin' Claire Lynch, Megan Miller thing. Just, if you are, and this is really situational and really out there, so it barely even counts, but I need to come up with something. So if you are going to turn Ryback back to being babyface, do it right this time. Don't screw it up. Don't freaking push and pull where you push him and you let him get a bunch of wins and then you realize he's getting over and you pull him back down and you bury him again like you did last time. If he's going to get over, let him get over. I mean, they always talk about how Vince and Triple H love the big bodybuilder guys and how they always give them everything they want. And that's what Ryback is, and they freaking buried him. And I am going to say it is a freaking burial. Yeah, sure, he had pay-per-view matches against John Cena, but he never looked like he was anywhere even close to being on the same level as Cena in any of them. At least Bray Wyatt picked up a shoddy victory over Cena in a cage match, which prevents me from calling it a burial, even though I probably should. But Ryback got absolutely decimated by Cena, and then he got relegated into a tag team that was a joke tag team that never even won anything. So yeah, Ryback got buried, and I don't want them to do that again. So just, if you're going to turn Ryback face, do it right. Put effort into it. Make him seem legitimate again, and cut the push-pull crap. So there you go.
Even though what I said came as a result of a joke, I was quite serious when I said if they do push Ryback again, I do want it to culminate, or at least be one of the high points of that push, being a match with Lesnar. I want to see it. I think it's...
Dude, and that's the thing. Like, there are so many people now. Like, I feel like since The Undertaker has been really on the back burner, and he was that guy. Anytime someone new would debut or someone would really get popular, everyone always said, oh man, I want to see him versus Taker. But now that role has fallen into the lap of John Cena and Brock Lesnar, and it's those two guys. And we've already seen Ryback Lesnar, so the other one by default is, or we've already seen Ryback versus Cena. So the other one by default then is Ryback versus Lesnar. And it goes for a bunch of guys. Bray Wyatt, we've seen him against Cena. I want to see him against Lesnar. Big E, I think a lot of people would want to see against both of those guys. Although we've kind of briefly seen Big E Cena, but it didn't really mean anything because it was before Big E got credible and then went to being uncredible again in the first place. And then another one, Dean Ambrose. Everyone wants to see Ambrose as a heel taking on John Cena with the mental games. I personally am horrified for the day that happens because I know that that's the day that Ambrose loses any and all momentum that he may have had before then, but a lot of people are looking forward to it. There are a lot of dream matches, and a good chunk of them involve Cena and or Lesnar.
Dude, I have it visualized in my head where Brock and Ryback have a very physical altercation, kind of like the first time that Punk and Lesnar were in the same ring, because Brock came to Heyman's aid, and they fought back and forth. And at one point, Lesnar's going for the F5, and Ryback reverses it into a shell shock, and the crowd just loses their minds. Like,
right, and I mean, I actually just thought of two more. Everybody wants to see Orton versus Lesnar. That's never happened.
I've wanted to see for a long time.
And that's never happened. And another one that everyone wants to see at this point now is Sheamus Lesnar, which we're probably never going to get.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard that Lesnar's very happy with his WWE deal right now, but I mean, he's never going to work, I think, with guys of that caliber. I mean, nothing against either of those guys, because I think they're worth Lesnar taking on, but, you know, I think they want to save him for programs that they feel like would be legitimately humongous in their scope and in their magnitude of importance. So, you know, it's a shame. If anything, those guys would only be programs in the sense that they would be speed bumps for the bigger picture. Like, you'd see Sheamus taking on Lesnar for the sole purpose of Lesnar looking like an even bigger threat to maybe an up-and-coming Roman Reigns, which I do believe we will get Reigns-Lesnar. That's a match I'd bet the house that we're going to get. Maybe even at this year's WrestleMania, I would go that far. But yeah, those two matches I've definitely wanted to see, Ryback-Lesnar. So there are a lot of dream matches, and keeping the focus on Ryback, it would be that easy to get his momentum back, because people still do the feed me more with him when he's setting up the meat hook. You get him involved with a guy like Lesnar, who has looked like a monster. I mean, unstoppable. And you have Ryback stand up to him and maybe come out on top in one altercation, and then they have a match. I think the crowd would be so solidly behind Ryback, it's ridiculous. So it's not an impossible feat to rebuild him. You just need to do, as you said in your Raw request action, you know, closing the circle up, commit to it. It requires commitment. You cannot push and pull with this. And I felt bad for Ryback the day he lost his push, and if he gets it back, I'll be happy, but I'll be happy with great tentativeness, because I'll never know when it's going to end. So
I feel like the only thing that could save Roman Reigns from getting the John Cena treatment is if he had two or three guys getting built up just as much as him around the same time as him. And I think that they really missed that opportunity with Ryback, because if they had done Ryback right, he would be in that point now where people would be complaining about him, and people would feel refreshed that Roman Reigns is coming around. And by the time people start complaining about Reigns, they would have gone back to, oh, maybe John Cena is not so bad anyway.
Yeah. I mean, that's the importance of having multiple top guys, not just the fact that it makes a healthier product, but really the crowd psychology that you just illustrated. When people get sick of one, they'll look at another differently. And then when people get sick of that one, so it's like it's a cyclical process. And I feel like they haven't really set up that process at all, and it's to their detriment. So with that said, is there anything else you have to say about this Raw?
Try better next week, John. Just try better.
Same here. So with that said, guys, this has been Raw. This has been the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort in commentary, Ashton. Guys, be sure to comment and subscribe on YouTube. Saw some pretty good comments on our last NXT review. Greatly appreciate it. Keep them coming. Discuss on Pleetoff. And speaking of NXT, that is when we'll see you again for our NXT review, as I believe the Vaudevillains are set to take on Mojo Rawley and Bull Dempsey, and Sin Cara and Kalisto are set to take on Wesley Blake and Buddy Murphy. See you there.